gentlemen, he is the problem child, Jake El Gallo! Oh!
Making his entrance to the ring, the challenger, AJ Anthony Joshua!
Striking coach, man I've known for over 20 years. And our unofficial scorer, Sean Wheelock, gave the opening round to the returning live.
A close fight, so you don't want
for AJ not having it all his own way.
I think both guys actually taking it over.
Ching 2.
Body by Paul. There's the left hand.
Put it fairly wide, haven't you, Carl? I know Tony Bellew has too. Just seen Anthony Joshua so fast. Left, right, comes
to it. His age,
yeah,
he's been pretty busy. Look at him.
That's a half.
Anthony Joshua. The Joshua
answers with the right hand.
Left through the guard.
Oh,
what uppercut there?
Joshua misses with
The bout between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua played out as a tense, methodical heavyweight battle. One that built gradually and made every moment feel increasingly weighty, with no easy exchanges or quick resolutions.
Anthony Joshua, as we all know, never been down, amateur or pro. But there's some
it's almost a lazy jab. That's what you want to.
Nose of silver.
Very loose to play a part in this.
At the start of the fight, Jake appeared relaxed and self-assured, staying light on his feet, throwing probing punches, and attempting to set the pace while showing he deserved to be there. Joshua, meanwhile, remained composed and upright, reading the action with calm focus, maintaining a tight stance and allowing the contest to unfold on his terms rather than forcing exchanges.
This jab right there that really knocked Jake back.
And we see that. Only one big shot, 2 points. Yeah,
the matching with the right hand. So a lot of focus on Joshua's as
they're trying to put busy pace.
should home the crowd like that. Traction, the glamorous. Looks in control, but up close as he tries the uppercut.
The opening rounds played out like a strategic contest powered by brute force. Jake stayed on the move, using feints and angles to break Joshua's rhythm, while Joshua calmly controlled range, taking subtle steps that made the ring feel increasingly confined. As the fight progressed, the moment of engagement became more precise. The clinches turned into tests of raw strength, and the tempo shifted into a battle of patience and endurance rather than all-out speed.
2. Left hook there. And a rough ball out of there. Combination from Silva.
Oh!
4-punch combination.
Another jolting right hand sends Joshua down. Anthony Joshua floored and hurt here in the 6th round.
Each time Joshua set his stance, the arena seemed to hold its breath, while Jake responded by reaching deeper as the pressure mounted, staying composed and refusing to unravel. By the middle rounds, the contest evolved into something more raw, less about storylines and more about enduring tough moments, conserving energy and making smart decisions under strain. Neither fighter forced the action, neither broke, and every round became a live experiment in confidence, colliding with seasoned experience.
Very loose to play a part in this.
Landing this jab right there that really knocked Jake back.
And we see that. Only one big shot, 2 points. Yeah,
the matching with the right hand. So a lot of focus on Joshua's as
they're trying to put busy pace.
should home the crowd like that. Traction, the glamorous. Looks in control.
As the fight reached its closing chapters, exhaustion and resolve became just as important as strength. Neither man chased spectacle or took wild chances. The tension came from restraint and focus. It was a meeting of aspiration and heavyweight truth, and the crowd stayed locked in, not for one dramatic flash, but because the bout itself posed a question that only competition can answer, keeping everyone invested until the final bell.
Ring, it's a dangerous place to be and anything can happen, and you hope your opponent leaves the ring safely, but if they don't, you know, you still have to go to bed at night knowing that you've just done your job. It wasn't personal.
I mean, yeah, look, I mean, it is a big task, but I mean, if this fight were 14 months ago or whatever, however many months ago you had the belt, then when I win, it would have been me becoming the heavyweight champion of the world. So
you would have beat me for the belt.
And you claim you're better than Tyson, all these people, so, I mean.
Even before the opening bell, the difference between them was clear at the weigh-in, subtly hinting at how the fight might unfold. Anthony Joshua registered 243.4 pounds on the scale, appearing lean, composed, and intentional. It wasn't mass added for intimidation, but the frame of a seasoned heavyweight shaped for endurance, power, and the demands of a long, grueling contest.
Oh, yeah. 243.4.
243.4. 243.4, Mr. Anthony Joshua. 243.4. I'm gonna need all media to scoot back this way, guys. All media, scoot back. Security, help me out.
There was nothing flashy about Joshua's presence. No showmanship, no excess. Just a calm assurance of an athlete at ease with his size, power, and the expectations that come with it. At that number, he appeared tuned for balance and resilience, heavy enough to assert himself physically while staying patient and measured in his movements. It came across less as a display and more as confirmation that he was ready for serious business, not a spectacle. Fully aware that in the heavyweight division, balance and structure are just as critical as raw strength.
Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul.
Jake Paul weighed in at 216 pounds, clearly lighter by comparison, but defined and focused. He carried himself with the confidence of someone relying on conditioning and quickness rather than sheer bulk. His weight hinted at a strategy centered on motion, timing, and stamina instead of trying to match power head-on, signaling belief in his ability to stay active and last the distance.
216.6. Yeah! Absolutely dialed! You listen to me, brother! When the ring bells, I'm coming in there and I'm coming on his ass! You know who I are! I are him! Let's go!
At 216 pounds, Jake appeared fit and prepared, clearly conscious of the size difference, but not intimidated by it. He opted for sharpness over added mass, valuing efficiency and accuracy rather than trying to match physical presence. That contrast on the scale didn't come across as a flaw, but as a calculated risk, built on the belief that training, quickness, and self-assurance could help close the gap against a much larger opponent. Before a punch was even thrown, the weigh-in numbers had already outlined the story. Two fighters, two approaches, stepping into the same ring with very different visions for how the fight would play out. Once the weigh-in numbers had already made it clear this was a matchup between fully grown heavyweights with real stakes, Joshua took the microphone and delivered a message that landed with weight. He made it clear that being respectful shouldn't be mistaken for being forgiving. Listening to him, it didn't come across as ego or bravado. It sounded like perspective earned over years at the top level. He wasn't dismissing Jake or mocking him. Instead, he framed Paul as dangerous in the most meaningful sense, belief. Joshua's message was straightforward. Write off someone who truly believes in himself, and you've already given him an opening. So when AJ said fans would be seeing the complete version of him, it didn't feel like hype or trash talk. It came across as a calm, professional warning from someone who knows exactly what that level requires.
You think this guy's deluded?
Nah. Look, an amateur coming into the game with no experience, he's taking on some good names. They may be old, they may be from different combats in terms of MMA and so on, but he's got in the ring at a decent level, fought Tommy Fury and so on, so he believes in himself. I take it seriously, I respect it.
Yeah, but their levels, come on AJ.
There'll be no coasting, no favors, and no spectacle-driven distractions. Just a disciplined heavyweight applying his craft the way it's meant to be done. What stood out was how Joshua described it, not with menace, but with the mindset of a technician rather than an enforcer. To him, knockouts aren't random moments. They're the result of deliberate work built over time. You don't force them, you earn them. And when he speaks about integrity, that's the part many fans overlook. Joshua isn't trying to cast himself as the villain or the savior. He's focused on doing things the right way. Because in boxing, cutting corners eventually gets exposed.
The fact that you've been Olympic champion, 2-time world champion, are you going to have to carry him to make it a spectacle? Or is he going to get the full, AJ?
The full. The full. I've never gone in there and knocked someone out within 10 seconds. There's a methodical process to knocking someone out. But if the opportunity presents itself, I'm not planning on carrying Jake for 1 second more than I have.
And sure, he smiles when the subject of knockouts comes up, because everyone understands what draws people to boxing in the first place. This wasn't Joshua glorifying chaos. It was him making it clear he wouldn't dilute the reality of the sport. At 243 pounds, armed with power on both sides and no intention of carrying anyone to fight, he came across as someone fully aware of his role and the expectations that come with it. He understands a fine line between entertainment and legitimacy. And when a heavyweight speaks with that level of calm, clarity, and conviction, it's usually the moment when the jokes stop and the attention sharpens.
And AJ, they want you to win by knockout. What do you make of that? People here in the States as well.
I love him. That's what we gotta do. That's what we're supposed to do. From the days of watching Mike, whether it's Foreman, Shavers, why do people love boxing? They don't love it from fighters that box 12 rounds and look great technically. They want to see people getting knocked out. It's just the game I'm in. People got to understand it. And I know people know where I'm coming from. They are like, oh my God, he's so crazy. No, they want to see knockouts. I respect it.
After Joshua delivered his message with that steady heavyweight composure, Jake Paul followed with words that sounded like someone who had already accepted his fate on his own terms. Listening to Jake, it felt unmistakably like classic Paul energy. Part self-made prophet, part lead character in his own narrative. Fully convinced this moment had been written long before it arrived. He didn't sound shaken or hurried. Instead, he spoke as if this path had been mapped out in his mind years ago. And whether you buy into it or not, that level of self-belief can be unsettling because it doesn't fracture easily. When Jake says others can't see what he sees, it's believable. Not because he's necessarily correct, but because conviction like that lets someone walk straight into chaos without flinching. Even the Starbucks comment felt on brand, a little cheesy, clearly intentional, and oddly effective at sticking in your head.
And to be brutally honest, not many of them are rooting for you. Some have said to me, he's deluded. What would you say to them?
I know you got him picked. Like, that's what it is, you know? Of course, people don't believe in me. They don't see what I can do. They're not in the gym with me. So I don't blame them for having that opinion and thinking that this is a crazy fight for me. But I see something completely different that no one else sees, and they're going to get to see it in roughly 24 hours.
That's Jake's way of easing the pressure, shrinking a towering heavyweight into just another role in his personal storyline. When he talks about nerves, mindfulness, breathing, and releasing energy, it isn't panic dressed up as wellness talk. It's preparation, just expressing the language he knows. You can roll your eyes at it, but it's hard to dismiss. He also casually waves off the idea that this is some scripted spectacle, insisting it's real, not a made-for-TV drama, while at the same time carrying himself like the world is about to revolve around his moment. And here's the part that's hard to ignore. Jake isn't selling this as an easy task. He openly calls it the toughest challenge he's ever faced, and that honesty actually strengthens his confidence. This isn't recklessness, it's commitment. Whether that belief holds up once the punches start flying is another question entirely. But stepping into something this big with humor, steady breathing, and no visible intimidation says a lot. Jake Paul may be facing something beyond his depth, but he's doing it upright, smiling, and convinced the ending matches the vision he's carried all along. In boxing, belief alone doesn't secure victory, but can make a fight deeply uncomfortable for everyone involved.
What would it mean if you pulled this off?
Yeah, when I win tomorrow, I mean, it's going to be an incredible moment, but at the same time, I know that it's coming. So I'll be very happy, and it'll, shock the world. People the world will be turned upside down. But at the same time, it'll just be proving myself right. And I will be the, face of boxing, the king of boxing, and just continue from there into more big.
By the time the night was over, it felt like more than just a bout. It came across as a pressure test for the sport itself. Experience, Self-belief, preparation, and expectation were all thrown together to see which would bend first. One fighter relied on years of structure, composure, and hard-earned control. The other leaned into confidence, vision, and absolute refusal to feel like he didn't belong. That contrast alone gave every round meaning. This wasn't about highlight moments or viral clips, but about how each man carried the weight once the noise disappeared and the real work began. Now I want to hear your thoughts, because fights like this don't end when the final bell rings. Did experience ultimately dictate the outcome? Or did belief push the boundaries further than you anticipated? Share your perspective in the comments. Keep the debate respectful, and if you're enjoying the content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.